Sim Racing Dan here with ISRA League's GTC series, Race 4 at Watkins Glen. This is part 1 of 2 of this video. It was such a good race, I had to go over the 15 minutes. Alright, so here we are at the beginning, Spec Miatas starting out. This begin is going to set the tone for the rest of the race. You're going to see lots of tight racing and side-by-side turns, lots of good stuff. Now, I also want to mention Watkins Glen is actually 45 minutes from where I grew up, but I'd never been there until this year. I grew up thinking I hated racing because even though we had cable and stuff, all they showed of racing on TV, and you oval guys, plug your ears now, was ovals. Either NASCAR or the Indy 500. And, you know, I tried Sims, and they bored the heck out of me because all I was doing was going around in circles. I had no idea that racing like this existed. So, man, I just sit there and think about how different my childhood or my life would have been if I'd grown up going to Watkins Glen on a regular basis. Oh well. Back to the race. So, not a whole lot has happened here. I wanted to sort of show this as, well, first off, it's the only time you're going to see some of these cars. Alright, so, here we are on lap 2. We've got, I think this is Mitchell ahead of me, and Alex ahead of him. And I go in for the inside. And am I going to make the pass? Is a resounding no. You got Gary right behind me in my mirror, you can see. I wasn't able to get enough ground and ended up with the outside line on the left-hander. Pumping my brakes here to let Gary know that for some reason Mitchell's going a little bit slow. And I don't want him to hit me. I apologize if that isn't Mitchell, by the way. I know he was with us at the beginning, so, and that looks like his name. Alright. Into the right-hander, not going to challenge him this early in the race, though he does leave me some pretty good room, intentionally or not. Okay, here we are on lap 3. And I've lost a little bit of ground, but not too much on the little pack ahead of me. Then there's contact. I dodge it. Fortunately, if that was Mitchell, he didn't come out too wide. And I'm behind Alex. Again, not able to apply full throttle because Mitchell is right to my right, as you will see now. And I give him the corner rather than risking an incident this early in the race. Very glad to see that Alex recovered from that. It wasn't a hard tap, obviously, but, you know, a lesser driver might have ended up in the wall. And Mitchell makes the pass on Alex. Coming into turn 1, Alex hits the curb, and I go for the pass on him. Side by side now, well before the braking zone. Looks like I am going to make this pass. But you'd be wrong. Alex pulls out from the left-hand side and into the S's. I want to talk about the S's for a second. You can see I'm going to keep it in 4th gear here. Even though it's just about hitting the rev limiter, I only go up to 5th gear once I hit the top. And the reason for that is that even though I entered about 102 miles an hour, 102, 103 is the limit for 4th gear, the hill makes it drop down to about 100 miles an hour. And 5th gear doesn't have enough power at that rev to keep you going. Alright, so I make the pass on Alex finally here. Okay, so that was into lap 4, now we're into lap 6. And I let a V8 by on the right side. Alex was behind me and said, "Wait a second, you're letting him by way too soon. You should have taken that turn." And he slips by me. I left a lot of these clips long because I didn't want to keep saying, "Alright, 30 seconds later." I have to do that once in this video, but the action is continuous enough that I thought it would be best to leave it all as a long sequence. I'm just hoping I don't bore you guys. But with racing this good, how could you possibly be bored? Into 6th gear, which is not usual. Definitely when I'm running on alone without a draft, I don't get into 6th gear there. Into the carousel next to Alex again. And he's still next to me. Incidentally, my mirrors turned out to have a rather large blind spot. When a car was right next to me, I could see it, but if it went much off to the left or right, depending on the side, I lost visibility, so I've adjusted that. It did have an impact on this race, though. Okay, so coming up through that darned bumpy section. Most annoying part of the track if you've got a motion rig like I do. You can see my seats just bouncing up and down like crazy. But so is the dash. So it looks real good, but very annoying to experience. Alright, Alex takes a little bit of early braking there. Gives me room, which is excellent. We're still pretty much side by side here, going on to the front straight. And behind us, behind me, is a V8. He's weaving through some traffic behind us and comes up along the right. I decide to let him go on that turn. Maybe that was a slow, bad mistake. Maybe I could have had the pass on Alex right there, but that's alright. It was better to let him go in a long race like this. I didn't mention this is an endurance challenge. It's 45 laps for the V8s. It ended up being, I believe, 38 for us. Incidentally, we're into lap 7 now. Lasted about an hour and a half, so there was plenty of time, and as you can see, made it through the S's nice and fast. I think Alex may have been slowed down there by the V8. I don't remember anymore, though. I wasn't paying enough attention there. Okay, and I make the pass on Alex. You can see in the mirror. Okay, here's where my mirrors had a problem. You can see in my rear view, if you look, the second car there was obscured by the chair, the seat in my mirror, in my rear view mirror, and because of the positioning of my left side mirror, I just did not see him, didn't know he existed, so I eased over, and that was a bad move. As I said, I've now adjusted my mirrors, so that shouldn't happen again, but something to keep in mind. Okay, so we have another V8 coming up behind us. And Gary ahead of me on the straight. My favorite passing zone. Okay, and into the carousel. Side by side, holding great. Still side by side. But I give Gary the left-hander because the way the camber on that turn works, I feel a lot more comfortable cutting in. Otherwise, I lose a lot of speed. So I will very rarely go side by side through that turn. And there's a Mustang coming up behind us. You can see him in my left view. And here's where I made a big racing mistake. I did not have enough room on enough passing side by sideness on Gary to really have made that move. That was a stupid move. Somehow though, he just, oh no, this is Dean. Alright, I was gonna say, I thought he recovered all of a sudden, but no, this is Dean to my left. So that was just dumb move on my part. As I said, I wasn't close enough to his door. I just shouldn't have challenged him for that position right there. It's a tough turn to do there. Very tight. It's a narrow, slow, tight right-hander. It's just a bad place to try to do that. Okay, so anyway, Alex is here behind Dean. V8 passes on the right, so we're going 3 wide. Beautiful pass there. And I'm almost by Dean, but not by far enough. But I still have Alex. Don't forget he was right behind Dean. And I make the pass on Alex, so that's good. And Dean goes wild in that left-hander, but keeps it together very nicely. Doesn't really lose too much speed because of that. But thinking that he's going wild, I'm patient, I'm careful, I don't get too close. He does it again. Overcooks that turn. But again, he's able to keep an awful lot of speed. So I did not make the pass. As you could see, he was well ahead of me by the time the turn came up. Okay, so I had shifted into 6th, then I shifted into 2nd, and that's what made me all squirrely there. So Gary managed to catch up with us after I'd hit him, so that was good. And so now here we are on lap 18, and I'm pitting with Alex. I already had my pit strategy set up. Tire change and 2.5 gallons of fuel. I started with 7.7. Did the math, and that turned out to be about 36 laps. I did a cut there. The pit stop was not really that fast, but I didn't figure you wanted to sit there for 20 seconds or whatever it took, watching me sit there. Okay, Alex gets a better exit out of the pits and stays ahead of me. So here we are. I believe this is lap 20, and Alex bounces off the wall. But he was able to keep going. And I managed to catch up with Gary here. It was lap 21, I believe. I think I messed up my lap counts at some point in here because I came up with 1 or 2 fewer than I should have. Got a V8 behind us, plenty of room for him to pass right between us. Lots of great multi-class driving here. They did a really, really good job. Okay, so we're still on lap 21, and just about to enter lap 22. There we go. Down the front straight, making good gains on Gary. He brakes early, and slots in behind me, so I make the pass. Okay, here we are on lap 23. Gary is still behind me. Well, he came side by side and makes the pass on me as I go on the outside. Alright, still on lap 23, but about to be on lap 24. And here's some traffic from the faster classes, slows me down a little bit, and Gary pushes his lead out on me. Continued in part 2.